All right, how's everybody doing? Hotep, how's everybody doing? Hey, this is Michael Imhotep, founder of the African History Network, host of the African History Network show. I'm a talk show host, researcher, lecturer, writer, and historian. So it is Thursday, March 5th, 2020, and we are live. Everybody share this broadcast on YouTube, share this on Facebook. Hope everybody's doing well. So I wanted to do an update dealing with the coronavirus, dealing with what's going on. This is affecting a number of different things. You've had conferences that have been canceled. You have airlines making changes, restricting flights to certain countries. We see the stock market took a beating today. The Dow Jones Industrial Average dropped 970 points today. We see California has declared a state of emergency. So this is growing. It is not getting better. And we see that Donald Trump is continuing to spread misinformation. Wednesday night, he did an interview on Fox News of all networks with Sean Hannity and spread more misinformation. So we're going to deal with some of that. Okay. Hope everybody's doing well. So everybody share this broadcast. Then also African American business owners, post the name of your business here on the thread of the broadcast and email us at customer service at africanhistorynetwork.com, customer service at africanhistorynetwork.com. We'll let you know how you can advertise with the African History Network. All right. And let me share this also here. Okay, so if we look at the death toll in the U.S. has risen to 12 as of Thursday, March 5th, 2020. Officials confirmed another fatality in the state of Washington. Okay, now Washington is basically the state that's probably been hit the hardest in the U.S. from the coronavirus. And several states announced their first positive tests, including the state of Maryland, which has declared a state of emergency. We also know the state of California has declared a state of emergency as well. I'm going to talk about that in just a minute here. Now, the outbreak has continued to disrupt the economy and strain resources. And Vice President Mike Pence acknowledged that testing materials will not meet demand going forward. So we know earlier in the week, New York Times reported that they were going to have tests available. They would have about 1 million tests available by the end of the week. Well, it's only going to be about 100,000 tests available by the end of the week. As more people are tested, you're going to see the numbers of people who are diagnosed with the coronavirus in the U.S. You're going to see those numbers skyrocket. So in Maryland, Governor Larry Hogan said Thursday that 3 positive coronavirus cases were confirmed in the state of Maryland, and that the patients contracted the virus while traveling overseas. They are quarantined in their homes in Montgomery County, which is a suburb of about 1 million people outside of Washington, D.C. Now, California is also under a state of emergency as a cruise ship carrying some 2,500 passengers was held off the coast for coronavirus testing. Washington Post has live updates. So I've been looking at the information from the Washington Post, New York Times, NBC News, some other news outlets also. But Washington Post has live updates as well as NBC News. If we look at, let's look at the information dealing with the state of California, because with California, California Governor Gavin Newsom declared a state of emergency after officials there announced the state's first coronavirus-linked death, bringing the death toll in the United States at that time to 11. He declared a state of emergency on Wednesday, March 4th. The fatality, which occurred northeast of Sacramento in Placer Placer County, Placer, represents the first U.S. death outside of Washington state. Okay, so we know the state of Washington has been hit the hardest. We see California announced the first death outside of the state of Washington on Wednesday, March 4th. Now, public health officials described the deceased California patient as an elderly adult with underlying health conditions. The patient was probably exposed during a mid-February round trip from San Francisco on a Diamond Princess cruise ship, officials said. The head of the Center for Disease Control and Prevention, the CDC, the head of the CDC on Wednesday, March 4th, said the agency is working with California to examine the passenger manifest for that trip. The ship, known as the Grand Princess, is a sister ship to the Diamond Princess. Okay, yeah, the Grand Princess, the sister ship to the Diamond Princess, which was the center of a coronavirus outbreak in February that sickened more than 700 people and led to 7 deaths. This is how this really spread coming to the U.S. Okay, the Diamond Princess ship. Now, meanwhile, at the epicenter of the U.S. outbreak in Washington state, officials confirmed another death and 10 new cases of coronavirus in King County, Washington, D.C. So if you've been watching my broadcast, you know King County has been hit very hard by this. Now, the state's 10 deaths, the state of Washington's 10 deaths, all have occurred in King and Snohomish counties, largely consisting of elderly patients with existing health problems who have been linked to the Life Care Nursing Facility in Kirkland, Washington. So the Washington Post is a good article dealing with this on March 4th, 2020. Death toll grows as states, federal governments struggle to control coronavirus. Death toll grows as state, federal governments struggle to control coronavirus. All right, how's everybody doing? How's Journal of Jades and Jesus doing? Everybody share this broadcast. All right, so check out that article. We'll post the links here to the articles for you. And as this spreads, more and more people are becoming more concerned, more alarmed. We shouldn't panic, but this is spreading. You're going to hear about more people being sick. You're going to hear about more deaths also in the U.S. as well. Now, if we go back to the live updates, let's look at the information dealing with the cruise ship. There's a cruise ship near California. 21 on cruise ship linked to COVID-19 or coronavirus. COVID-19 cases show symptoms, California governor says. A Princess cruise ship that has been linked to at least 2 cases of COVID-19 in California, including that of a person who died, has 21 people, 11 passengers and 10 crew members on board who are showing symptoms, Governor Gavin Newsom of California said on Wednesday. The Grand Princess was headed to San Francisco, but is being delayed off the coast, quote, to provide ample opportunity for the Center for Disease Control to conduct tests, Governor Gavin Newsom said. The 2 confirmed COVID-19 cases involve passengers who have been on a previous voyage between San Francisco and Mexico in mid-February. Placer County announced Wednesday that one of those people, an elderly man with underlying health conditions, had died. The other person, who was on the same cruise, tested presumptively positive in Sonoma County. Now, the Grand Princess then went on a trip to Hawaii, and 62 people on that trip had also been on the previous Mexico voyage. Princess Cruises said in a statement, those guests and potential close those guests and potential close crew contacts have been asked to stay in their staterooms until screened, according to the company. Now, the ship, the Grand Princess, stopped in Hawaii, but the director of the state health department said no specific risk has been identified. Okay. And that was reported by NBC affiliate KHNL of Honolulu. All right. Now, I don't know about you, but you couldn't give me a free trip on a cruise now. That's too much exposure. That's too many people that you are exposed to. Okay, that's just dangerous. All right, so you have 21 on a cruise ship linked to 2 COVID-19 cases showing symptoms. Those 21 are being monitored. Okay, and that's near California. We saw California's first death related to coronavirus was confirmed on Wednesday, March 4th. Okay. Also, California has declared a state of emergency. California has declared a state of emergency over the coronavirus outbreak as tests continued on Thursday, March 5th, on board a Princess cruise ship that had been linked to 2 cases of the virus in the state of California. So this thing is spreading. As it's spreading, Donald Trump continues to spread misinformation. Okay, as this is spreading, Donald Trump continues to spread misinformation. All right, let's see here. Okay, so we got some comments. Okay, so we have, let me see who we have here. I'm trying to monitor this on 2 laptops, so just bear with me. Journal of Jade News. You've got you have more than 400 to 600 deaths in China. There are more than that. I'm going to go to the world map in just a minute and show you how many, and show you what's going on, because it's over 3,000 deaths worldwide. The overwhelming majority of those deaths are in China. Blast Fried, Zeus, just a few of the people watching. How's everybody doing? Okay. Just a second, I have a bunch of tabs open. I'm refreshing these tabs as we get updates also. All right. So we have a state of emergency in California. We have Maryland announcing the first diagnosed case. We see the stock market, the Dow Jones Industrial Average fell 970 points on Thursday, March 5th, after rising 1,200 points on Wednesday, March 4th, after the Super Tuesday results and Joe Biden winning 10 states out of 14. China remains the worst hit country overall, with deaths surpassing 3,000 and confirmed cases reaching 80,552 in China. But the epidemic is now slowing in China, while other countries are reporting more outbreaks as more people get tested. Now, if we look at some of the latest updates, we see the U.S. Senate voted nearly unanimously on Thursday, March 5th, to approve $8.3 billion in emergency spending for combating the coronavirus outbreak, sending the measure to the White House. So it passed the House of Representatives on Wednesday, March 4th. It passed the U.S. Senate on Thursday, March 5th. If we look at NBCnews.com has an article regarding this. Senate passes $8.3 billion emergency bill to combat coronavirus. The agreement's swift passage through Congress came after several weeks of negotiations, and as the virus's outbreak worsened Thursday with new confirmed cases in the U.S. So the Senate passed the legislation in a 96-1 vote a day after the House of Representatives quickly and overwhelmingly passed it in a 415-2 vote, and it now goes to Donald Trump's desk to be signed into law. Appropriators had released details of the bipartisan bicameral agreement only hours earlier on Wednesday. Now, passage of the agreement through both chambers came after several weeks of negotiations between Democrats and Republicans, and as the virus's outbreak worsened Thursday with new confirmed cases in the state of New York and in Tennessee. California also declared a state of emergency over its spread, and a Princess cruise ship was delayed off the shore in California because it had been linked to 2 cases of the illness in the state. At least 12 people in the US have died from COVID-19, the disease caused by the coronavirus. Ahead of the US Senate vote on Thursday, March 5th, Health and Human Services Secretary Alex Azar and Dr. Anthony Fauci, director of the National Institute of Allergy and Infectious Diseases, held a closed-door briefing with House lawmakers in the morning to discuss lab testing of the virus, as many have expressed concern that the U.S. is lagging behind in testing patients. The U.S. is lagging behind in testing patients because there's a lack of tests to give out to the hospitals to be able to test patients. Now, Secretary of Health and Human Services Alex Azar admitted that, quote, it is a challenge if you are a doctor wanting to get someone tested. That experience will get better over the next week and a half to 2 weeks. As more tests are sent out to hospitals, as more people are tested, you're going to see the number of diagnosed cases skyrocket. The spending measure would provide $7.8 billion to fight the new coronavirus and include a mandatory funding authorization for $500 million over 10 years to be used toward a remote healthcare program. Now, negotiators said it also includes a provision that would require that funds are used only to combat the coronavirus and other infectious diseases, as some Democrats feared that the Trump administration could raid the fund and use it for other unrelated purposes, like to build Donald Trump's fake ass wall that he lied and said Mexico was going to pay for. Now, the legislation will provide more than $2 billion to the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention for public health funding, for public health funding for prevention, preparedness, and response. It also would allocate more than $3 billion to a public health emergency fund and the National Institutes of Health to research and develop vaccines, treatment, and testing of the coronavirus. The bill would also provide nearly $1.3 billion to help protect the health of Americans living abroad from the virus. Now, Donald Trump originally asked Congress for $2.5 billion to combat the virus, but Democrats quickly said that amount would be insufficient and noted that it called for taking money from programs for the poor. So I reported on this before. Donald Trump wanted to take money from programs for the poor, take money from programs that help people pay for heating and different things like this to help fight the coronavirus, which was just ridiculous. Okay, so Democrats quickly said that amount would be insufficient and noted that it called for taking money from programs for the poor. Senate Minority Leader Chuck Schumer, Democrat of New York, responded with an $8.5 billion proposal. Donald Trump suggested at an event in Washington earlier in the week that he would sign whatever funding deal Congress sends him, because his back is against the wall. He's in hot water. He's been mishandling this whole catastrophe. And then also we find out that he had been slashing funding to various health agencies that were designed to track and protect and help prevent infectious diseases from spreading also. Okay, so for instance, if we look at this article from foreignpolicy.com, I talked about this before, from foreignpolicy.com, Trump has sabotaged America's coronavirus response. Trump has sabotaged America's coronavirus response. As it improvises its way through a public health crisis, the United States has never been less prepared for a pandemic. In May of 2018, Donald Trump ordered the National Security Council's entire global health security unit shut down, calling for reassignment of Rear Admiral Timothy Zimmer and dissolution of his team inside the agency. The month before, then White House National Security Advisor John Bolton pressured Rear Admiral Timothy Zimmer's Department of Homeland Security counterpart Tom Bossert to resign along with his team. Neither the National Security Council nor Department of Homeland Security epidemic teams have been replaced. Now, this article is from January 31st, 2020 from foreignpolicy.com. The global health section of the Center for Disease Control was so drastically cut in 2018 that much of its staff was laid off, and the number of countries it was working in was reduced from 49 countries to merely 10 countries. Meanwhile, throughout 2018, the U.S. Agency for International Development and its director, Mark Green, came repeatedly under fire from both the White House and Secretary of State Mike Pompeo. And though Congress has so far managed to block the Trump administration's plans to cut the U.S. Public Health Service Commission Corps by 40%, the disease-fighting cadres have steadily eroded as retired officers go unreplaced. So as you have retired experts in the Center for Disease Control and U.S. Public Health Services, things like this, as they retire, they're not being replaced. We look at the article from MSN.com. Trump administration to cut funds from health programs to pay for coronavirus response. The Trump administration will pay for the coronavirus response in part by cutting funds from other health programs, including one that pays for heating and cooling assistance for the poor. We look at businessinsider.com. Trump spent the past 2 years slashing the government agencies responsible for handling the coronavirus outbreak. So see, this is where you have to have somebody who's president who actually is competent and knows what they're doing, doesn't declare a war on scientists, hasn't been getting rid of scientists and slashing the budgets of these various scientific agencies. Okay. This is what happens when you have somebody who doesn't understand science. So for instance, the broadcast I did yesterday, Trump is in a meeting with Dr. Anthony Fauci and all the experts. And Trump asked the question, why can't we use the flu vaccine for people who have, why can't we use the flu vaccine to fight against the coronavirus? So MSN.com had this article from, I think it was from March 4th or March 3rd, 2020. Experts baffled as Trump asked why they can't just use flu vaccines to prevent coronavirus. Experts baffled as Trump asked why they can't just use flu vaccines to prevent coronavirus. In a series of videos actually released by the White House, Donald Trump can be seen getting increasingly more confused by the experts in the room who are patiently trying to explain very, very basic concepts to the president. During one segment, he seems incapable of understanding how long it actually takes to formulate a vaccine, repeatedly suggesting a couple of months. Dr. Anthony Fauci is saying, look, he said it in the meeting, no matter how fast you go, it's going to be at least a year to a year and a half before you have a vaccine. Okay. Donald Trump is saying a couple of months. Repeatedly suggesting a couple of months should be the time frame because he, quote, likes that better, end quote, than the actual realistic year and a half estimate he's been given. Donald Trump is trying to keep the stock market propped up. He's trying to keep people from panicking and keep the stock market propped up. So he's just out here lying. Okay, so read that from MSN.com. We'll post a link here. And then if we look at, I posted these articles on our fan page, the African History Network. Trump is blaming President Obama and the Obama administration for his response to for Trump's response to the coronavirus. So Yahoo news.yahoo.com has this article from March 4th, 2020. They picked it up from theweek.com, week.com. Other outlets are reporting on this as well. Trump is now trying to blame Obama for his coronavirus response. Trump is now trying to blame Obama for his coronavirus response. New York Times has an article about this as well. Criticized for coronavirus response, Trump points to Obama administration. Let's look at this article from yahoonews.com. Amid criticism over the government's ability to test for cases of the new coronavirus, Donald Trump on Wednesday, March 4th, attempted to shift the blame to who else? His predecessor, former President Barack Obama. Speaking to reporters alongside Vice President Mike Pence, who's in charge of handling the U.S. response to COVID-19, Donald Trump said the Obama administration made a decision that wound up hindering the country's ability to tackle the spreading virus, but said he reversed that situation recently. People were confused about what exactly Donald Trump was referring to. So Vice President Mike Pence attempted to clarify, telling reporters the Obama administration had given the Food and Drug Administration, the FDA, jurisdiction over disease testing development. Donald Trump, he said, is now allowing states to conduct their own tests and research, conduct their own tests and research, which expands testing capabilities. Now, Trump critics were quick to jump on Donald Trump's attempt to blame President Barack Obama, pointing out that it was Donald Trump's administration that disbanded the team directly responsible for global health security and potential pandemics in 2018, which I talked about. And Vox.com has an article that you've heard me talk about the past few days, and this dealt with the Trump administration disbanding the predict predict task force. Let's look at this article from Vox.com. A crucial, because I've got like 40 pages of notes dealing with all this stuff. A crucial federal program tracking dangerous diseases is shutting down. This is from Vox.com, October 29, 2019. See, this is why whoever is president, it has to be somebody who's competent, who has a basic understanding of science, who will listen to the experts, okay, and not make stuff up to keep the stock market propped up and not make dumb decisions like this. A crucial federal program tracking dangerous diseases is shutting down. Predict, the name of the program was called Predict. Predict, a pandemic preparedness program, thrived under President George W. Bush and President Barack Obama. Now it's canceled. Now, this is from October 29, 2019. Ever since the 2005 H5N1 bird flu scare, the U.S. Agency for International Development, USAID, has run a project to track and research these diseases. The name of the project is called Predict, Predict. At a cost of $207 million during its existence, the program has collected more than 100,000 samples and found nearly 1,000 novel viruses, including a new Ebola virus. But on Friday in October 2019, the New York Times reported that the U.S. government is shutting down the program. According to its former director, Dennis Carroll, the program enjoyed enthusiastic support under President George W. Bush and President Barack Obama, but quote, things got complicated, end quote, in the last few years until the program essentially collapsed. This is Trump who shut down this Predict program that would have been ahead of the curve of the novel coronavirus at a cost of $207 million during its existence. The Predict project, the program Predict, has collected more than 100,000 samples and found nearly 100,000 novel viruses, including a new Ebola virus, to get ahead of the curve. This fool who has declared war on the scientists, okay, this fool shut the program down. Okay, so check out that article from Vox.com, Vox.com. And then look at the one from BusinessInsider.com. Trump spent the past 2 years slashing the government agencies responsible for handling the coronavirus outbreak. This is from February 25th, 2020. Trump spent the past 2 years slashing the government agencies responsible for handling the coronavirus outbreak. All right, now, let me give you we're going to post a link here to the article from, news.yahoo.com. So read that one. Okay, how's everybody doing? King Chai, Journal J News. All right. Okay, then African American business owners, email us at customer service at AfricanHistoryNetwork.com, customer service at AfricanHistoryNetwork.com. We'll let you know how you can advertise with the African History Network. You can post the name of your business here also. If you like this type of information, you can donate to the African History Network, $ the AHN show through Cash App, $ the AHN show through Cash App, also through PayPal, paypal.me/the AHN show, paypal.me/the AHN show, or at our website, AfricanHistoryNetwork.com, and click on the yellow donate button. Okay, so let's look here. And then New York Times had an article about this as well, about Donald Trump blaming the Obama administration and President Barack Obama. The name of that article from New York Times is, let's see here. Hold on just a second. Just had that one. Okay, we've got the live updates. Okay, that one is critics criticized for coronavirus response. Trump points to Obama administration. Criticized for coronavirus response. Trump points to Obama administration. But health experts and former Obama officials said they were unaware of any policy or rule changes that would have affected the FDA's response. So Trump is just lying, okay? And there was another one, let's see here. When I posted the article from Yahoo News, they had a fact check on this exposing Trump just lying. Yeah, so Trump said the Obama administration made a decision on testing that turned out to be very detrimental to what we're doing. And we undid that decision a few days ago so that testing can take place in a much more accurate and rapid fashion. That's what he said. The fact check is Trump's administration disbanded the team directly responsible for global health security and potential pandemics in 2018. Okay. So that's what happened. Now, you may have also seen an excerpt of Donald Trump on Sean Hannity's show Wednesday night on Fox News. Donald Trump said he thinks that the 3.4% death rate of those who are diagnosed with the coronavirus is a really false number. It went up from 2.3%, as I reported a couple of days ago, from 2.3% worldwide to 3.4% as more people are diagnosed with this. He said, now this is just my hunch, but based on a lot of conversations with a lot of people that do this, because of a lot of people will have this and it's very mild. Okay, so once again, this is nonsense. He said, now this is just my hunch, but based on a lot of conversations with a lot of people that do this, because a lot of people will have this and it's very mild, they'll get better very rapidly. They don't even see a doctor. They don't even call a doctor. You never hear about those people. Okay, that's dangerous. When you have a president, a sitting president, putting out misinformation like this on cable news, that's dangerous. That causes uncertainty in the stock market. That causes confusion because people will sit up and watch Fox News. If they watch Fox News, you already know a lot of them are ignorant as hell. They'll sit up and watch Fox News and think it's all right to go to work sick. They'll think it's all right to go to school sick. And then they'll go to college, what have you. And they'll go and infect other people potentially. Also, NBCnews.com has a good article dealing with the misinformation Trump is putting out. Trump has many hunches about the coronavirus. Here's what the experts say. Trump has many hunches about the coronavirus. Here's what the experts say. This is from May 5th, 2020, NBCnews.com, which goes through and dispels a lot of these myths. He's trying to keep people from panicking. He's trying to keep the stock market propped up. That's what this boils down to. This is dangerous, and this allows the coronavirus to spread. At a time like this, you need a real leader who would tell people the truth, calm people down, prepare people, but not lie to them. Okay, not put out misinformation like this. Okay, let's go back to the live updates. So we saw that the Senate voted nearly unanimously on Thursday, March 5th, to approve $8.3 billion in emergency spending for combating the coronavirus outbreak, sending the measure to the White House. So hopefully Trump will sign that into law tomorrow, if he or the next day, if he has time, as much time as he has to tweet. He should sign this, go ahead and sign this into law. Now, Tennessee confirmed its first coronavirus case, while Colorado announced its first presumptive positive case. A host of other states announced more infections as well. If you saw the analysis I did of Super Tuesday and the results and all of that, you had a lot of people who saw what was going on with the coronavirus and Trump's handling of it and his response. And they realized you need somebody competent to handle a crisis like this. You need somebody competent who hasn't declared war on scientists, who is not anti-climate change, who is not defunding and slashing staff and getting rid of scientists. You need somebody competent to handle a crisis like this. So Health and Human Services Secretary Alex Azar told a House of Representatives briefing Thursday, that the government will have shipped enough tests by the end of the week for 75,000 people to be tested. 75,000 people. Earlier in the week, Vice President Mike Pence said they would ship enough tests by the end of the week for 1 million people to be tested. Now it's 75,000. Despite concerns that more than 30 countries are grappling with cases, the Director General of the World Health Organization said it is encouraged that the number of cases in South Korea and China appear to be declining. Now, we saw that Governor Larry Hogan, governor of Maryland, declares state of emergency in Maryland after Maryland has its first coronavirus case. After first coronavirus cases, Governor Larry Hogan declared a state of emergency on Thursday, March 5th, after announcing the state's first 3 coronavirus cases. All of the patients who contracted the virus overseas are in good condition, he said earlier. Maryland's public health laboratory confirmed the cases. Governor Larry Hogan said the 3 cases involved a husband and wife in their 70s and a woman who is not related and in her 50s. They are quarantined in their homes in Montgomery County, a suburb of about 1 million people just outside of Washington. Francis B. Phillips, the state's deputy secretary for public health, said all 3 returned to Maryland on February 20th after traveling overseas. They were tested Wednesday March 4th, Wednesday morning, March 4th. Maryland received results on Thursday. Okay. Now we see that members of Congress asked OSHA for regulation to protect healthcare workers, because healthcare workers are very vulnerable because they're coming in contact with people who are sick. They're coming in contact with people who could have coronavirus or do have coronavirus. A proposed regulation designed to help protect healthcare workers from infectious diseases such as the coronavirus has languished inside a federal agency. The draft regulation will require employers to provide protective gear for healthcare workers and to create infection control plans, which could include building isolation rooms. The Obama administration was working to adopt the regulation, but the Trump administration in 2017 moved it to a less urgent long-term agenda, and work on it stopped. This is the Trump administration reversing a lot of these policies from the Obama administration. And the reversal was for the worse. This is an example of how elections have consequences. This is why I was explaining to people in 2016, this is not about one person versus another person. These election of a president has wide-ranging ramifications. Now, members of Congress, unions representing healthcare workers, and the former head of the Occupational Safety and Health Administration, OSHA, are calling for the proposal to be expedited. They are petitioning the Labor Department, which oversees OSHA, to turn to a little-used federal law that allows the agency to issue a temporary emergency standard when a grave danger, quote unquote, grave danger, or new hazards emerge in the workplace. Several unions are asking that any emergency regulation also include people working for airlines, mass transit systems, prisons, or in other workplaces, or work in other workplaces where laborers may be exposed to the coronavirus. People working in all these different fields come in contact with people. Mass transit, you drive a bus, you work on a subway, okay? You work for the airlines, you work in prisons, you come in contact with a lot of people. You are vulnerable to this. So several unions who represent these various workers are asking that any emergency regulation for healthcare workers also go to protect these people as well. In a letter sent Thursday afternoon to Labor Secretary Eugene Scalia, Representatives Bobby Scott, Democrat of Virginia, and Alma Adams, Democrat of North Carolina, said the quote, widespread epidemic of a virulent novel airborne, end quote, make it, quote, clear it is time, end quote, to set an emergency standard. Now, this all deals with how politics impacts every aspect of your life. Politics impacts every aspect of your life, from the water we drink to the air we breathe to the food we eat. You have conferences being canceled right now because of fears of the coronavirus. You have schools being closed, schools in the state of Washington being closed. This is going to continue. We're seeing how this is impacting the stock market as well. This is going to impact business also. What happens when businesses shut down and people are not getting a paycheck? How does that impact the businesses around them, the grocery stores, the gas stations? How does that impact commerce around them? Okay, so that update came out March 5th as well. Now, in the state of, in Seattle, state of Washington, you have this case Relatives of residents at virus-stricken nursing home facility lash out at officials. Okay, you had that. That's not the one I wanted. There's another one about this spread where this fool did, well, I don't want to say the fool because they may die something else, so I don't want to say that. What happened was they didn't take the advice from the health professionals. And let me find that article. They didn't take the advice from the health professionals, and then they got sick. Where is that? Hold on. Because see, this is one of the ways it's spreading. Now, I don't know what gave them the idea to defy what the professionals are saying. I don't know who they've been listening to. But whoever it was, they made a bad decision. Let's look at this here. Okay, I'll find it. It's not that one. Some of these I got to, oh, here we go. How coronavirus spread in New York from a man to his family, then a neighbor, then friends. Okay, so this is Washington Post. I think NBC News has an article about this as well. Some of these, I have to print up some more of these, get ready for the Sunday night show. I got to buy some more ink too, because I've been going through a lot of ink. But when we look at this article from Washington Post, how coronavirus spread in New York from a man to his family, then a neighbor, then friends. First, a lawyer who commutes between the suburbs and his Midtown Manhattan office was diagnosed with the coronavirus. Then his wife and 2 children tested positive, along with a neighbor who drove him to the hospital. By Wednesday afternoon, another friend, his wife, and 3 of their children were also infected. In the span of 48 hours, what began as one family's medical crisis had spiraled well beyond their Westchester County home, shuttering Jewish schools and synagogues and crystallizing the virus's power to propel anxiety across a region that is among the nation's most densely populated. While Governor Andrew Cuomo, urged calm, news of the virus's latest victim spread through close-knit Orthodox communities in the family's hometown of New Rochelle and across New York City, where pockets of Jews frequent the same kosher restaurants and attend the same schools, weddings, bar mitzvahs, and funerals. Okay. Now, let me skip past this. As the number of cases reached 11 in New York, officials sought to reassure transit riders that just a second, I'm trying to find something. As the number of coronavirus cases reached 11 in New York, officials sought to reassure transit riders that it remains safe to travel the region's vast network of subway and suburban train lines. There was no indication that casual contact, such as riding a subway with someone who is sick, is going to increase the risk to everyday New Yorkers, said Oxiris Barbot, B-A-R-B-O-T, the city's health commissioner. Now, the State University of New York and the City University of New York suspended study abroad programs in countries including China, Italy, Japan, South Korea on Wednesday, as fears mounted over the virus. Approximately 300 students, as well as staff, have been asked to return from those countries to be quarantined in dorm-like facilities. Okay, in dorm-like facilities. Just a second here. I'm trying to share something. Okay, so check out this one. Now, it was one of these cases where it spread because the people didn't follow the advice of the experts. I think this is the case here. I can't remember. Hold on, let me see. Spend activity. Voice for the student. Chemicals Tuesday. Okay, check out. I'll give you the link to this. Check this out. Okay, I can't find it right now. But this one is what's the name of this? How could but this deals with how it spread. I think this was the case right here. But the name of this article, how coronavirus spread in New York from a man to his family, then a neighbor, then friends. This is from the Washington Post for March 4th, 2020. Let me give you the link here. And we'll put this in the notes also of the broadcast. Okay, so let's look at the we'll go back to the live. There we go. Yeah, I just posted the link there for you. You gotta bear with me because I have about 50 tabs open right now. And then to get a chance to print all of these articles up. But we go back to Seattle, Washington. Relatives of residents at virus-stricken nursing facility lash out at officials. Relatives of several residents of a nursing facility near Seattle struck by the coronavirus lashed out at government officials, accusing them on Thursday, March 5th. At a news conference of exacerbating the outbreak and keeping families in the dark. Quote, whatever information we receive has been conflicted by another source, end quote, said Kevin Connolly, whose father-in-law, Jerry Wall, is at Life Care Center in Kirkland, Washington, a Seattle suburb. So this is the facility where you had a number of people who were infected and it really spread. Okay. Now, quote, we are being told all CDC, Center for Disease Control and Prevention, precautions are being followed, and yet we wake up daily to news of another death. Now, Mike Wetherill said his 85-year-old mother, Louise, died Wednesday. She suffered a stroke 15 years ago and had lived at the Life Care Center since September 2019. She started to show symptoms in the early part of the week, he said, and at 4 a.m. Wednesday, March 4th, she was transferred to Evergreen Hospital nearby. She died 2 hours later alone. Now, Mike Wetherill only heard about his mother's transfer to the hospital and her death an hour after she died, he said. She was never tested for COVID-19, the disease caused by the virus. And doctors told him that she died of natural causes. He said, in my heart, I think she passed from the COVID virus. Now, 9 deaths at this facility, this what's the name of it? Life Care Center. 9 deaths at the facility have been linked to the COVID-19 virus, according to the King County Public Health Department. The families of residents who are still alive want their relatives tested for the virus. They also want to meet in person with government officials who have yet to speak with them directly. Vice President Mike Pence visited the region on Thursday. Okay, so check that out. Washington Post has good updates I'm going through looking at some of these updates from March 5th. China records 143 new coronavirus cases, bringing total to more than 80,500. So it's believed, we know this started in Wuhan, China. China recorded 143 new cases of coronavirus Thursday, March 5th, for a total of 80,552 infections in the country, according to state media. There were 30 new deaths, 29 of them in Hubei province, the outbreak's epicenter. CCTV News said Friday one death was recorded in Hainan, Hainan. There are also 102 additional suspected cases. China remains the worst hit country globally, with deaths surpassing 3,000. But the epidemic is now slowing, while other countries are reporting increasing outbreaks as more people get tested. Now, Hubei province now has a total of 69,592 cases. All of the 126 newly confirmed cases there were in the city of Wuhan, China, where the now global crisis started and prompted an unprecedented lockdown affecting millions of citizens. In total, 670,854 close contacts have been traced, and 29,896 are still under medical observation, state media said in China. Okay. Let me see. I'm skipping over some of these. There's Amazon and Facebook in the Seattle, Washington area are letting their employees who can work from home, telecommute. Let's see here. Okay. I'm going to give you the link to the one from NBC News because I have a ton of information on this. So I'm trying to not overwhelm you with all this, but give you some important information. They have an update from the Washington Post. No, you probably can't boost your immune system to prevent coronavirus. Since news about the coronavirus broke, there is a good chance you have read or heard advice about how to boost your immune system, whether it is loading up on citrus fruit, sipping herbal or green tea, eating yogurt for probiotics, or taking vitamin or zinc supplements. Unfortunately, there's no evidence any of these strategies will supercharge immunity. To understand, let's consider how the immune system works. The immune system's role is to defend your body against disease by fighting infection. It is a system in the truest sense with many interconnected working parts: white blood cells, antibodies, bone marrow, the spleen, the thymus, lymphatic system, etc. The cells and organs operate in concert to hunt down and destroy dangerous pathogens, such as viruses that enter your body. A boost, quote unquote, boost in that process would not be a good thing. Scientifically, it would mean your immune system was overactive, and overactive immune systems lead to autoimmune disorders. You just want the immune system to function normally so it helps prevent infection. While it is true parts of the system require vitamins and minerals such as vitamin A, vitamin C, zinc, etc., it is true that some parts of the system require vitamins and minerals to function normally. Higher doses have not been shown to make the system in general function better, the system in its entirety function better. In fact, scientists are still a long way from understanding the complex interplay of cells and organs that allows the immune system to perform at its optimum level. So what can we do to keep the immune system and our overall health functioning optimally? The experts with whom the writer spoke, let me bring up this article here. This is one of the reasons why I subscribe to the Washington Post. I pay the Washington Post and New York Times each month. I have digital subscription, so I got access to all this information because I read Washington Post, New York Times every day. This is this article here. I'll give you the link of it. No, you probably can't boost immune system to prevent coronavirus. Here's why. No, you probably can't boost immune system to prevent coronavirus. Here's why. This is from the wellness section, Washington Post by Cara Rosenblum, Cara, March 5th, 2020. This is the type of stuff I read. This is why you haven't seen me do any videos dealing with Oprah and Gail and Snoop and Jada, all that bullshit. I don't have time for that. Okay. This is the type of stuff I read. Let's see here who we have. Rue Israel eating clue food. Yeah. Now I encourage people to get proper rest because I'm making sure. Yeah, I'm making sure I take my vitamin. I take vitamin C tablets daily. Sometimes I forget. I make sure I take my vitamin C tablets. I'm taking 2 a day. And these are 1,000 milligrams. And I'm making sure I get more rest because, from my understanding, if you run down, if you sleep deprived, it weakens your immune system. You don't want to be sleep deprived anyway, but I'm making sure I get more rest. Okay. So I, because this stuff out here is serious. Okay. Let's see here. Let's go back to this one. Okay. So I gave you that link to that article. That's from March 5th. And name of that article, once again, no, you probably can't boost your immune system to prevent coronavirus. Here's why. And I got, I just got the information from Encyclopedia Britannica online. They have it where you can get a monthly subscription for $7.99. I need to do that also because I used to have an annual subscription, but that was like $89, something like that. And I was like, I don't want to pay that, but I'll pay $8 a month to be able to access all their information for Britannica.com. My last broadcast, you saw me tell you about this book right here. This is from Encyclopedia Britannica, 10-minute guide to U.S. history. And this gives a chronology of U.S. history. It's a good basic book that gives an overall chronology of U.S. history, going back to European settlements, even going back to before the American Revolution, 1775, 1783. They go back to English settlement, Jamestown, 1607. And it gives a good overview, a chronology of U.S. history. Okay, the Great Depression, all different types of things like this. This is something good to get for your children also. Okay, I need to start selling this, to you the truth. This is something good to get for your children. This can help them in school. I got this at Sam's Club for $7.78. It looks like it's regularly $11.99. It's manufactured in China. I don't know if they still import them now with the coronavirus. I got this a couple years ago. Maybe we said, wait a second, hold on, man. Why is a book about U.S. history made in China? What the hell? It says right here. It says right here. I just realized that it says manufactured in China. Why is a book about U.S. history manufactured in China? What is that about? You say maybe somebody should tell Donald Trump maybe he'll have make it in the U.S., make America great again. I guess I don't know, but all right. So yeah, so read that article, and if you could, okay. So the article goes on to say, so what can we do to keep the immune system and our overall health functioning optimally? The experts I spoke with all had the same suggestion, and this list probably will not surprise you. In addition to balanced diet, in addition to the balanced diet mentioned by Palali, you should aim to be physically active for at least 150 minutes per week. Take steps to quit smoking. Use strategies to reduce stress. Exercise is great for that. Also, blocking Simple Simon Ass people on social media works well also to reduce your stress level. I'm just saying. And try to get adequate sleep, about 7 or 8 hours per night. And that's big. And see, and I think, so what I have to do, I have to try to get 10 hours of sleep, because if I try to get 8 hours of sleep, I'm gonna end up getting 6 or 7 hours. And I have to power down about at least a half hour before I go to bed. Also, turn off the TV, all that stuff, get off social media. So, because if I focus on getting 8 hours of sleep, I'm gonna end up getting 7 or 6. If I focus on getting 10, I'll get 9 or 8. All right. So Now, if you consume a diet filled with adequate protein, fiber, vitamins, and minerals, you should not need any of the supplements being marketed around coronavirus. To get there, fill half your plate with vegetables and fruit, and the remaining quarters are left for protein-rich foods, chicken, fish, beans, eggs, etc., and some whole grains like oats or brown rice. Now, I'm a vegetarian. I don't eat meat. I haven't eaten meat in like 15 years. Vegetables and fruits are especially important. Choosing a colorful array, perhaps carrots, peppers, oranges, leafy green vegetables, berries, or apples, will provide vitamins A and C, which both play important roles in immune function. I ran out of, I take a multivitamin that's vegetarian. I get it from Whole Foods. I need to buy some more too. They're kind of expensive, but I need to buy some more. But that multivitamin works. And when I take it, I realize I have more energy. That one, because it's vegetarian, I think it's vegan, but because it's vegetarian, you can take it on an empty stomach also. Because with the vitamins, and another thing with that one, with the one that I take, your body absorbs more of the nutrients. When you take a multivitamin and you urinate and it changes the color of your urine, it's because your body is not absorbing. It's because your body's not absorbing a lot of those nutrients, and those nutrients are coming out in your urine. When you have vitamins that are non-vegetarian or non-vegan vitamins, your body doesn't absorb the nutrients as much as with the other ones. And that's why with a lot of those vitamins that are not vegetarian, you can't take them on an empty stomach. It tells you right on the bottle, don't take on an empty stomach. So there's a difference between the two of them. All right, so it is also vital to get enough vitamin D. Perhaps it is also vital to get enough vitamin D because vitamin D deficiency is linked to an increased susceptibility to infection. Since it is found in a limited number of foods such as fortified milk and fatty fish, I don't drink milk, supplements are often recommended. The dose you need depends on age, gender, and how much you get from food. If you're not getting the range of vitamins and minerals you need from food, you can take a multivitamin. But be wary of unregulated supplement claims. Quote, people should know that the FDA, Food and Drug Administration, requires a lot of evidence that medications are safe and do what they say they will do, end quote, before they reach the market, said Ellen Foxman, Foxman, an assistant professor in the Department of Laboratory Medicine at Yale University School of Medicine. Ellen Foxman went on to say, quote, however, the same is not true for dietary supplements. Statements that appear on packaging often have not been approved by the FDA or any official organization. Be skeptical, end quote. For example, probiotics are often touted as immune enhancers. But although there is some evidence that certain lactobacillus and bifidobacterium, bifidobacterium probiotic strains can help shorten the duration of a cold, it does not mean they will be effective for coronavirus. Quote, viruses mutate, end quote, says Natasha Haskey, a research dietitian at the University of British Columbia. She went on to say that one particular probiotic is going to stop the coronavirus or influenza is just impossible. That sounds like Donald Trump sitting in a meeting with the experts a couple of days ago, asking why can't we use the flu vaccine for the coronavirus? That sounds like something ignorant he would say. Okay, you can read the rest of this. I'm going to give you the link here. This is a really good article. No, you probably can't boost your immune system to prevent coronavirus. Here's why. This is from the Washington Post. We'll go to the article from NBCnews.com in a minute. I want to give you some more updates here. Okay, so let's post this link here. Washington Post. Okay, now what'd you say you were asking for a friend? Jade, let's see here. Okay, Israel said, please stay well. We need you. Yeah, I'm trying. Let's see. Okay, Jade, I was asking for a friend. Yeah. How does someone like me get a book about America manufactured in China? Well, you can, if you go to Britannica.com, you could probably get this book. I got it at Sam's Club, but it's from Encyclopedia Britannica. Okay, let's continue, everybody. All right, and then also African-American business owners, post the name of your business here on the thread of the broadcast. Email us at customerservice@africanhistorynetwork.com. Customer service at africanhistorynetwork.com will let you know how you can advertise with the African History Network. Now we have a couple new advertisers here. Sage and Elm Apothecary. Now, Sage and Elm Apothecary produces products, designs. They design over 60 different beautiful handcrafted soaps, natural toothpaste, hydrating oils, deodorant, face masks, shampoos, conditioners, and so much more. This is an African-American owned and operated company. They create unique products, especially with you in mind. At Sage and Elm Apothecary, they use simple ingredients such as whole fruits, herbs, and vegetables. Each product crafted offers a unique plant-based experience. Their holistic approach to self-care formulate their product inventory. They're proud to serve their community of plant-based product supporters and offerings for the entire family. Visit their website, sageandelmapothecary.com, APOTHECARY, sageandelmapothecary.com, and you can order from their website. You can also find out where their pop-up shops are and where they will be for vending events as well. They have a special promotion. Use promo code AHN Spring 20. AHN Spring 20. Now, a lot of people travel, maybe traveling less with the coronavirus spreading, but African Americans still travel as well. And when you travel, you can carry your culture with you when you travel, and blacklionleather.com can help you with that. Now, they sell unique travel accessories. Blackleatherlion.com manufactures and sell online to the culturally inspired African-American traveler. They are 100% African-American owned and operated. Their tagline is carry your culture, carry your culture. You can visit their website, Black Lion, Lion, blacklionleather.com. You can see the accessories they have there. You can order them also. So the next time you travel, you can carry your culture with you with accessories from blacklionleather.com. All right, let's continue here. And then also, if you like this type of information, everybody, you could donate to the African History Network, $ the AHN show through Cash App, $ the AHN show through Cash App, or paypal.me/the AHN show through PayPal, paypal.me/the AHN show. And then also at our website, africanhistorynetwork.com, click on the yellow donate button there. You can set up for a recurring donation also if you want to as well. So that really helps us to keep doing the research, stay on the air, pay the bills, helps when I have to travel out of state and speak at different events. I will be at the Baltimore Natural Hair Care Expo the weekend of March 29th, March 30th. You'll hear more about that. I'll be speaking at the Baltimore Natural Hair Care Expo. And I'll be a vendor there and doing some workshops there, also dealing with great African women in history, the mothers of civilization, and some other things as well. So you'll hear more information about that. Okay, let's continue. All right, let's go. I want to go back to the updates here. Okay, so I gave you the article about preventing the coronavirus. Okay, let's see. Now the for that cruise line that is near California, Princess passengers in San Francisco awaiting test after possible coronavirus exposure. Princess passengers in San Francisco awaiting tests after possible coronavirus exposure. Judy and Mark Cadiz, C-A-D-I-Z, stepped off the Grand Princess on February 21st, 2020, after a trip from San Francisco to Mexico. 6 days ago, her husband, 65 years old, fell ill with a cough. Judy was also sick, albeit with milder symptoms. Because the Caddises had no clue they might have been exposed, they've been traveling all around California, she said. Judy Caddis is now worried she might have exposed numerous people to the coronavirus, including elderly members of the Lodi Moose Lodge, Lodi, where she keeps the books. She's a bookkeeper. She said, I would feel really bad if I exposed and spread it. Now, she said she's also upset that Princess Cruises did not notify her and other passengers that someone had become so severely ill with coronavirus symptoms. A passenger was admitted to the hospital with symptoms 6 days after the cruise arrived and died Thursday. A passenger was admitted to the hospital with symptoms 6 days after the cruise arrived and died Thursday. She said, I wouldn't have gone anywhere. I would have just informed everyone I can't come out and play. Okay, so, man, this thing is crazy. So one of the previous updates I just did, we talked about how you have unions that represent people that work in different industries, asking for it. When you have the increase in protections for healthcare workers, you need increases in protections for people working on the airlines and mass transit and prisons, et cetera, right? Coronavirus spread prompts unease around correctional facilities. Coronavirus spread prompts unease around correctional facilities. This is one of the updates from Washington Post, because I've been going through looking at all the updates every day, like dozens of them. And then I look at the updates from New York Times and Washington and NBC News also. NBCnews.com, all that stuff is free. Washington Post, New York Times, after you read, I think each one allows you 4 articles a month to read or something like that, free, then you have to pay. Officials responsible for American prisons and jails say they are prepared for the ongoing coronavirus outbreak, while advocates for the incarcerated worry it could cause, quote, devastating effects, end quote, if it reaches correctional facilities. So we see it spreading throughout assisted living facilities. It will spread also if it hits correctional facilities. More than 2.1 million people were incarcerated in a prison or local jail at the end of 2016, according to federal statistics. Those people packed into these facilities who research has found are more likely to have had chronic conditions or infectious diseases do not include the regular flow of officers, other staffers, attorneys, and visitors who make their way in and out every day. Josiah D. Rich is a doctor and professor of medicine and epidemiology at Brown University, who co-founded the Center for Prisoner Health and Human Rights. He said in an interview, quote, you have an artificial environment which is at high risk for transmission. You have an artificial environment which is at high risk for a transmission, end quote. The virus, so the article goes on to say, The virus is believed to spread between people who are in relatively close contact, though it could also be transmitted via surfaces or objects that have been contaminated, according to the Center for Disease Control and Prevention. Go to cdc.gov, cdc.gov. They have a whole page there of what to do, things like that. The Federal Bureau of Prisons, which has more than 146,000 inmates in its custody, this is federal facilities, along with more than 28,000 in private or other facilities, has, quote, a screening tool in place for use in the event an inmate or staff member is exposed or symptomatic, end quote, a spokesperson said in a statement. The Bureau said its system has no coronavirus cases, which was echoed by the Texas correctional system and others. In Washington state, the state of Washington, which is home to an ongoing outbreak at a nursing home facility, corrections officials said they have plans in place to prevent the spread of infectious diseases. The Florida Department of Corrections, state of Florida Department of Corrections said in a statement that it, quote, is fully prepared to handle any potential cases, end quote, of coronavirus, and that visitations are continuing as normal. In New York State, the Department of Corrections and Community Supervision said two staff members were staying home. Two staff members were staying home because of the outbreak. One of them had symptoms but tested negative for COVID-19, the disease caused by the virus, while the other, quote, was near someone who may have the virus and so is staying home as a precaution, but has not exhibited any symptoms, end quote, a spokesperson said. Other officials said they were following or building on existing flu infection policies. In Rhode Island, the Department of Corrections said that beginning last week, it had begun screening all new commitments entering the system for the coronavirus. So far, the department said Thursday, March 5th, no inmates or staffers have shown any coronavirus symptoms. So we know that the state of Massachusetts announces the third COVID-19 case. Massachusetts state officials announced one new presumptive positive case of COVID-19 on Thursday, March 5th, adding to the one confirmed case and one presumptive case already in the state. The new patient is a woman in her 60s who had recently traveled to Italy. She lives in Middlesex County outside Boston and is recovering at home, state officials said. She was tested by the state public health laboratory. The positive result is considered presumptive until it can be confirmed by the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention. Okay, so we see that blood donations have fallen as people stay home from virus fears, blood banks warn. As social gatherings fade out of virus fears, a second order effect has emerged nationwide, a dwindling blood supply. Donation centers thrive on blood drives at schools, workplaces, and other organizations, but restrictions and closures of public places have led to falling donations across the country, making the supply of perishable blood a growing concern should there be an emergency. The New York Blood Center said 3/4 of its blood donations come from such events, and it's seeking to double its reserves. Christopher D. Hillier, Hillyer, the center's chief executive, said, as healthy, eligible donors, we have a responsibility to our neighbors to keep the blood supply safe and robust. A resilient healthcare system is more important than ever, and we're counting on everyone to help maintain that. Okay, now the World Health Organization is deeply concerned by a growing number of countries reporting cases. The World Health Organization is deeply concerned by a growing number of countries reporting cases. That an increasing number of countries are reporting cases of coronavirus, especially countries with weak health systems. World Health Organization Director General Tedros, I don't know how to pronounce his last name, Ghebreyesus, Ghebreyesus, said in a news conference on Thursday. He said, we are concerned that some countries have either not taken this seriously enough or have decided there is nothing they can do. We are concerned that in some countries, the level of political commitment and the actions that demonstrate that commitment do not match the level of the threat we all face. This is not a drill. Now, despite concerns that more than 30 countries are grappling with cases, Director General Tedros said the organization is encouraged that the number of cases in South Korea and China appear to be declining. All right, now the Grand Princess cruise ship that sailed, the Grand Princess cruise ship, the people who sailed between February 11th and February 21st later tested positive for new coronavirus. The CDC says efforts are underway to contact people who sailed on this cruise ship. The Centers for Disease Control and Prevention said Thursday afternoon that 3 passengers who sailed a Mexico cruise, who sailed on a Mexico cruise on the Grand Princess cruise ship between February 11th and February 25th later tested positive for the new coronavirus. One of those passengers, identified by the cruise line as a 71-year-old man with underlying health problems, died on Wednesday, March 4th. While local officials have revealed infections of former passengers in North Carolina's Sonoma and Placer counties, it was not clear where the third passenger was from. The agency said it was working with the cruise lines and partners in California to get in touch with passengers who were on the previous sailing, as well as the current one, which visited Hawaii before officials ordered it to stay at sea off the coast of California. Yeah, because officials ordered the cruise ship to stay at sea off the coast of California, so the people to test the people. Quote, CDC has notified states about the risk and management of passengers aboard the Grand Princess cruise ship between February 11th and February 21st who might have COVID-19 symptoms, a statement said. It went on to say, quote, passengers on this initial cruise who have COVID-19 symptoms should call their healthcare provider and explain their symptoms and potential exposure from the cruise, end quote. For those on the current sailing, which left San Francisco on February 21st and was originally scheduled to return on Saturday, the agency is working to provide tips on, quote, how to reduce their risk for exposure while they remain on board, end quote, the statement said. Testing kits were delivered to the ship on Thursday, March 5th, and the captain told passengers that samples could be collected from certain passengers and crew by the end of the day. He said he expected results by Friday morning, but in the meantime, the CDC had recommended that all passengers stay in their cabins. All precautions will be taken as the investigation is underway to determine possible risk of spread, the CDC said in a statement. Man, these cruise ships, man, you're going to be able to take some really cheap cruises in a minute here. They're going to drop the price to almost zero because nobody is going to want to go on a cruise. So, as I reported a couple of days ago, we saw the first cases in Senegal. There was one case reported in Senegal, one in Nigeria. We see an update from Thursday. Fears of more coronavirus cases in Senegal as religious festivals near. In Dakar, Senegal, confirmed cases of the new coronavirus in Senegal have jumped from 0 to 4 in recent days. Okay, not a whole lot, but from 0 to 4 in recent days, the most in a sub-Saharan African country, raising fears that upcoming religious festivals could fuel a wider outbreak. Hundreds of thousands of people plan to travel through Senegal this month on pilgrimages as global health officials urge against large gatherings. Now, the risk of spread is very, very high, said Ousmane Faye, or Faye, F-A-Y-E, the chief virologist at the Pasteur Institute in Dakar. Quote, because of all the traffic we have from Europe, from China, from all over, end quote. Now, Senegal is about 95% Muslim, and most people belong to Sufi brotherhood, Sufi Islam, S-U-F-I, Sufi brotherhoods with centuries of history and massive political power. Senegalese President Macky Sall, S-A-L-L, met with more than 60 imams Thursday at the Islamic Institute of Dakar, where they discussed the coronavirus, but officials stopped short of halting religious gatherings, saying they would closely monitor the threat. Only in the event of an emergency would authorities suspend the religious observances, which are seen as deeply private affairs. Okay. Okay, so we see one of the large health insurance companies, Cigna, announced late Thursday afternoon that it would not require its customers to pay anything if a doctor decides they need to be tested for the coronavirus. There is the insurance company Cigna has 170 million customer relationships or customers worldwide, and said in the statement that it had decided to remove the usual deductibles and copays, a feature of most of the nation's private health plans for coronavirus tests ordered by a physician. All right, I'm looking at important updates. Yeah. Okay, and then in Seattle, Washington, you have a postal worker infected by coronavirus, officials say. A postal worker in the Seattle area who works at a package sorting facility in the suburb of Federal Way has contracted the coronavirus, U.S. Postal Service officials confirmed. The employee had recently returned from travel overseas, spokesman David Partenheimer said, although he did not specify which country she visited. Spokesman David Partenheimer said this incident is not mail related. The employee's condition, the employee's condition is not known. She would not have handled any mail or packages. The employee would not have handled any mail or packages, but may have been in contact with other employees, although postal officials said the agency has been advised by the county health department that the risk to other employees is low. Employees in the Seattle Network Distribution Center work primarily with automated equipment that sorts packages and bundles of mail. There are generally no interactions with postal customers. The Postal Service is continuing a temporary suspension on its guarantee on Priority Mail Express International destined for China and Hong Kong, which has been in effect since February 10th, 2020, because of widespread airline cancellations and restrictions on travel into those areas. Mail and packages to and from China continue to be delayed. Okay, so we see it spreading also in Latin America. Let's go to this map here. Um, Let me pull up the map so we can see where this is hitting, because it's updated each day from the New York Times. Okay, let's turn on the screen share. How's everybody doing? Let's see. That's not it. Just a minute. Let's turn on the screen share here. So it's believed the virus, as I said in the broadcast from March 4th, it's believed the virus comes from China, Wuhan, China. It's believed it went from a bat. It goes from an animal to a human, but it's believed it went from a bat to a human, mutated in the human so that it can be passed from human to human. This is a particular strand of the coronavirus. Okay, so screen share should be on. All right, so if we look at this map, it was last updated March 5th, 2020. The coronavirus outbreak has sickened more than, let's zoom in here. Let's try to zoom in. Has sickened more than 97,800 people, according to official counts worldwide. Let me zoom in more. As of Thursday evening, at least 3,344 people have died worldwide. All except 331 are in mainland China. So the hardest hit area of the world is in China. Okay. And when you look at this map, you see how many cases have been reported. Over 80,400 in China, over 1,000 in Japan, over 3,500 in Iran. We look at Nigeria. Nigeria is at 2. Egypt is at 2. Israel 16. Algeria 12. Italy 3,800. Brazil 4. Singapore 2. Indonesia 2. Australia 4. Now we were looking at so they don't show Senegal on here. Senegal has 4. It may not have updated for Senegal. The U.S. is over 200 cases, reported cases. Okay, so you can look at this from New York Times to get an idea of where it's hitting in the world. They have a legend here: confirmed cases, travel but be careful. At risk groups is a darker orange, and then avoid all non-essential travel. So you see China, okay, is red. China, South Korea, Japan, Iran, Italy. All right, so that gives you a world view of this. The one from, okay, yeah, this is what I want. The one I want. This is from NBCnews.com. Trump has many hunches about the coronavirus. Here's what the experts say. Trump has many hunches about the coronavirus. Here's what the experts say. Trump has spread misinformation about the coronavirus, contradicting health officials on significant facts and advice. Okay, and this is dangerous. This in a time of crisis like this, people look to the president to reassure people, to give people accurate information, to help keep people safe. He's largely been doing the opposite. He's been giving out misinformation. We saw that the cutting of funding for various agencies has put has made it so that the U.S. was not prepared properly to handle this. Okay, and then when we look at the reporting from Washington Post from February 27, 2020, Trump says he can bring in coronavirus experts quickly. The experts say it is not that simple. See, this dealt with Trump getting rid of a lot of the scientists, and then saying, "Oh, well, we can just bring them back when we need to bring them back." And then, as I stated, the article from Vox.com, a crucial federal program tracking dangerous diseases is shutting down. A crucial federal program tracking dangerous diseases is shutting down. Okay, so this shows how government impacts your life. Okay, and how politics impacts our lives. Okay, if we look at this one from NBCnews.com. Okay, so as cases of the coronavirus continue to spread around the world and the U.S. And around the world and the U.S., Donald Trump is not backing away from spreading personal beliefs about the virus that contradict veteran health officials and experts. Trump has a long history of distrusting experts, most notably his own intelligence community and government scientists, and he frequently claims to know more than his career experts on a wide range of subjects. But with the world teetering on the edge of a global pandemic, the stakes of Trump's pushback have never been so high. As of Thursday afternoon, 12 U.S. patients have died, and more than 100 Americans have been diagnosed with COVID-19. Is actually so. Yeah, it was. Yeah, it's well over 100 now. Trump has painted criticism about his comments on the virus as a Democratic hoax and media hysteria. On Thursday, Donald Trump's re-election campaign sent out a memo claiming that the, quote, media's obsession with weaponizing the coronavirus against Donald Trump remains at pandemic levels. This is what his re-election campaign sent out. Here is a look at the gap between what Trump has said and what health experts say. Experts say the death rate is 3.4%. Donald Trump says that's false, as I stated earlier. The World Health Organization said this week that about 3.4% of coronavirus patients have died. Okay. Trump said, I think 3.4% is really a false number. And this is just my hunch, but based on a lot of conversations with a lot of people that do this, because a lot of people will have this and it's very mild, they'll get better very rapidly. They don't even see a doctor. They don't even call a doctor. You never hear about those people. This is what this idiot said. Death rates can vary over time and are very different for each country. Dr. Anthony Fauci, director of the National Institute of Allergy and Infectious Diseases, told Congress on Wednesday, March 4th, that it's too early to know the real mortality rate because it's not clear how many people have been infected, because there's a lack of tests to actually test the people. Now, experts predict more cases. Trump says U.S. cases are, quote, going very substantially down, end quote. No, they're not. During a news conference at the White House last week, multiple health officials warned that the virus will continue to spread throughout the U.S. And Shushat, S-C-H-U-C-H-A-T, Shushat, a senior career official at the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention, said at the news conference that, quote, we do expect more cases and this is a good time to prepare, end quote. And Health and Human Services Secretary Alex Azar also said the U.S. should expect more cases. But Donald Trump has repeatedly downplayed the potential for the coronavirus to spread through the U.S., even suggesting without scientific evidence that the number of cases would soon decrease. At the same news conference, Trump said the number of cases, quote, within a couple of days is going to be down to close to zero. That's a pretty good job we've done, end quote. This the same fool that sat up in a meeting with the experts a few days ago and asked, why can't we use the flu vaccine? Why can't we give the flu vaccine to somebody who has to fight against the coronavirus? This is the same person who repeatedly says it's going to be a couple of months before there's a vaccine, and the experts are saying it's going to be at least a year to a year and a half. Trump says the coronavirus is like a flu. Experts say is multiple times worse. Trump has repeatedly conflated the coronavirus with the seasonal flu, downplaying the severity of the new virus. In the interview with Sean Hannity on Fox News Wednesday night, Donald Trump referred to the virus as corona flu. And during a news conference last week, he claimed that coronavirus is like a flu. Many experts have cautioned that the coronavirus is different from influenza, especially because no vaccine is available for the coronavirus. So far, the coronavirus appears to be more contagious and more deadly than the flu. Dr. Anthony Fauci said during hearings this week that the mortality rate of the coronavirus, quote, is multiple times what the seasonal flu is, end quote, because the seasonal flu, the mortality rate is about 1/10 of 1%. And what we're seeing for the coronavirus is at 3.4% now. Is deadlier than the flu. Now, more people at this point, more people get the flu annually, at least in the US annually, than the coronavirus, but the coronavirus is deadlier. Donald Trump says it's okay to go to work when sick. If you're sick with the coronavirus, he says it's okay to go to work. Experts say do not go to work. In the same Fox interview with Sean Hannity on Fox News, Donald Trump suggested that people infected with the virus could still go to work and make full recoveries. This is in direct contrast to what the CDC has advised people to do. Donald Trump said if we have thousands or hundreds of thousands of people that get better just by, sitting around and even going to work, some of them go to work, but they get better, end quote, he said. The Center for Disease Control and Prevention has said people displaying symptoms should stay home and self-quarantine unless they are seeking medical care. Quote, people who are mildly ill with COVID-19 are able to isolate at home during their illness. You should restrict activities outside your home, except for getting medical care. Do not go to work. Do not go to school. Do not go to public areas. Do not pass go and collect $200. Avoid using public transportation. Avoid ride sharing or taxis. This is from the CDC website. Somebody should share this with Donald Trump. All the Black Republicans watching, go get this information to your boy because he's giving out false information. Then I saw an update from dealing with Uber and Lyft. Let me see here. Which one is that? It was an update from the Washington Post dealing with Uber and Lyft. Let me see. Retailers try to keep stores clean of coronavirus is another one. I didn't get to this. There's so many updates. I'm not going to be able to get to all these. Retail stores in San Francisco are taking extra precautions as the coronavirus continues to spread in the country. Some customers outside an Apple store said they were trying to avoid touching the devices for sale. Apple said it was increasing cleaning operations at all of its retail outlets. At Warby Parker's stores, the staff is taking extra precautions to update our sanitization policy in accordance with CDC guidelines. The company said in a statement referring to the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention. Microsoft is taking similar measures at its retail stores, and the company has added hand sanitizers for customers. Now, yeah, this is the remarks from Vice President Mike Pence. VP Mike Pence said U.S. does not have enough tests for growing demand. Vice President Mike Pence expressed confidence about tests being distributed Thursday, but when pressed by reporters, he acknowledged, quote, "We do not have enough tests to meet what we anticipate will be the demand going forward," end quote. I said this already because Health and Human Services Secretary Alex Azar told a House of Representatives briefing Thursday that the government will have shipped enough tests by the end of the week for 75,000 people to be tested. They will be distributed at more than 70 public health laboratories in the U.S. I want to get to the one, yeah, this one right here. This was updated 4:34 p.m. Lyft urges employees to work from home for rest of week. Ride-hailing company Lyft is encouraging employees at its San Francisco headquarters to work from home, the company confirmed Thursday after learning that a worker had come into contact with a person who was exposed to the new coronavirus. The exposure did not involve a confirmed case, but Lyft told employees to work remotely out of an abundance of caution. Quote, "The team member has not exhibited any symptoms and is in touch with medical professionals," end quote, Lyft spokeswoman Alexandra Lamana said in a statement. Quote, "We are basing every step of our response process on CDC guidance and out of an abundance of caution are encouraging our San Francisco headquarters employees to work from home for the remainder of this week," end quote. We saw Amazon and Facebook in Seattle, Washington, give advice to employees. They said many of them could work from home. Lyft's action followed measures taken by Silicon Valley's ride-hailing and food delivery business to ensure the safety of employees at the tech firms, which employed thousands in the region. Uber spokesman Noah Edwardson said the company had restricted employee travel to China, northern Italy, Iran, and South Korea. Other companies such as Instacart were encouraging employees to work from home if they felt sick and keep a close eye on employee travel, requiring manager approval for domestic or international trips. Now, it was something else that I saw dealing with Uber. Okay, maybe that was the only one. It was something else. Let's see. I wanted to go to. We did the map. It was one other thing I was looking at. So I'm just giving you a summary here. Okay, I gave you the article from NBC News dealing with Trump lying. I gave you that one. Oh, here, I think this is it right here because it went to the CDC. I was looking at something from the CDC. It was in the article from NBC News. What to do if you are sick with coronavirus disease 2019. Okay, this is dealing with COVID-19. So this is from the Center for Disease Control. They have this information here. Yeah, stay home except to get medical care. Steps to help prevent the spread of COVID-19 if you are sick, etc. They tell you what to do. I'm going to post this link here. This is from the Center for Disease Control. Pay attention to this. Don't listen to what Donald Trump is saying. He's going to get a whole lot of people sick. Okay, so we'll post this here also. Okay, how's everybody doing? We got Rhett Yisrael, Jade. Let's refresh here. How's everybody doing? Everybody share this broadcast on social media, on Facebook and YouTube. And be sure to follow us here on our Facebook fan page, The African History Network, The African History Network. And follow us also on our YouTube channel, Michael Imhotep, Imhotep, on YouTube. Be sure to listen to the African History Network show Sundays, 9 p.m. to 11 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on 9:10 a.m. the Superstar WFDF. We broadcast on our Facebook fan page and our YouTube channel also when we're live. If you want to advertise with the African History Network, email us at customerservice@africanhistorynetwork.com, customerservice@africanhistorynetwork.com. And we take we promote your business in my live videos, but also in the audio podcast of our videos as well. We put your 30-second and 60-second commercial in our audio podcast. We're on 8 different podcast platforms. All right. Author Teresa Roseman is the author of the book She Remembered Her Path. Now, She Remembered Her Path is a poem about a woman named Sheteria. Sheteria is a woman who finds herself in trouble. She feels she cannot make decisions that were simple in her younger life. The fear is she has stepped off the path she has created and now needs guidance to return to her confident self. Find out what happens to Sheteria in the book She Remembered Her Path. It's available at eBay, Barnes & Noble, and Amazon.com, and also in Kindle form from Amazon as well. Now, a lot of people are getting into shape right now. A lot of people want to get ready for spring and summer. A lot of African-American women are getting into shape, and SheRanHerselfFit.com can help you with that. Now, She Ran Herself Fit's mission is to inspire and motivate women to make healthy lifestyle changes. She Ran Herself Fit is a brand that promotes women living a healthy lifestyle by making small sacrifices in your daily routine and changing your diet. You can combat many of the different diseases that are prevalent in the African-American community. The owner of She Ran Herself Fit, her name is Felicia. Felicia lost over 200 pounds by changing her diet and running. When you visit her website, SheRanHerselfFit.com, you see before and after pictures. Now, running may not be your motivation, but find out what drives you to be fit. She Ran Herself Fit has apparel available at their website for purchase, SheRanHerselfFit.com. Okay, let me give you this. Okay, so I gave you did I give you the link from the CDC? Okay, I'll give you the link from the CDC here. Okay, and then that article is a really good article from NBCnews.com that dealt with the difference between what Trump is saying and what the experts are saying. Okay, I think you should listen to the experts. Trump has no clue what he's talking about. Okay, we'll post that also here. All right. And let me see. I think that was all I wanted to get through. Hey guys, look, hey, we're going to get out of here. Remember, at the African History Network, we focus on educating, empowering, and inspiring people of African descent throughout the diaspora and around the world. Because right now it's correct wrong behavior. You can sign up for our email newsletter. Text the word Kemet, K-E-M-E-T, to 22828 to sign up for our email newsletter. Text the word Kemet, K-E-M-E-T, to 22828 to sign up for our email newsletter. Or at our website, AfricanHistoryNetwork.com. You can sign up there. We usually send out an email newsletter before I go live. And we have articles, things like that, the email newsletter, and let you know where I'm going to be speaking as well. Okay, so remember, at the African History Network, we focus on educating, empowering, and inspiring people of African descent throughout the diaspora and around the world, because right now it's correct wrong behavior. It's not over till we win. Wakanda forever. And we'll talk to you next time. Peace.